back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Alright, full-time family, let's get to these questions for the 3,000 subscriber question and answers. I'm about to sort these by newest first and get straight to it. I hope I've gave everybody enough time to ask questions if they have any. I know there's probably going to be a couple people who missed it, but it is what it is. We'll catch you next time. With that being said, let's get straight to it. Dan 24 ounces said, congratulations, bro. Pablo Platinum Escobar said, congratulations, big homie. Much love for you and the day ones. Love to the full-time family and even the lurkers. We taking over. Fuck the other side. A1 since day one. Let's go. WMMA Talk said, congratulations, no question. Keep it up. Much appreciated. WMMA Talk. Jordan Walsh said, congrats, bro. Full-time family taking over in this bitch. Fuck you, 10 man. We taking over. One subscriber at a time. We taking over. El Chapo said, fair play, my man. Erie, it's only getting started. MQH, ha ha ha. Let's fucking go. Jordan Walsh said, what up and coming fights are you pumped for? Me, man, it's easy for me to please. I'm pumped for every single UFC card and then the big Bellator cards, man. I'm pumped for the the Bellator 192 card with Rory McDonald and Douglas Lima, Chael Sonnen and Rampage, Michael Chandler and Guidi Yamauchi. I'm pumped for that card, but it's interesting. It's competing with UFC 220, Daniel Cormier versus Volkan Ozdemir, Francis Ngannou versus Stipe Miocic. So I'm definitely excited for Francis Ngannou versus Stipe Miocic. I'm excited for Holly Holm versus Chris Cyborg, Rafael Dos Anjos versus Robbie Lawler, Mike Perry versus Santiago Ponzinibbio, Sean O'Malley's next fight. Yeah, so pretty much just all the upcoming UFC cards and all the big Bellator cards, I guess you would call them. So yeah, with that being said, next question comes from James Hughes. You will hit 10,000 before you know it, bro. Your channel is the hot shit, for real, for real. I'm a proud full-time family member. I hipped my son and his two best friends to the channel. They all subscribed, and my wife and her sister subscribed. Yo, dog, that is dope as hell. That is what is up for real, dog. So much appreciated, James Hughes. Next, we got Toast Senior. He said a huge congrats from the day one hitters and the full-time family. Thank you very much, Toast Senior. James Hughes said, my wife's sister seen Big Full-Time on that live stream and said she thinks Big Full-Time is sexy and wanna suck his dick from the back. Lil bitch is a freak, dog. That's pretty fucking hilarious, bro. But I don't know what my girl would think about that, but I'll tell you this on the low, because she's probably not listening to this. Big Full-Time definitely got love for the freak bitches. So shout out to James Hughes' wife, sister. Next, Nikolay Damyanov said, ta rah rah rah, it's the motherfucking full-time MMA. Let's fucking go, Nikolay. El Chapo said, what Conor next fight, MMA or boxing, and who? Conor's next fight will in my opinion, will be MMA, and it's going to be either George St. Pierre or Nate Diaz. It's not going to be Tony Ferguson in my mind. Definitely not. It's gonna be a super fight. Conor McGregor's just too, in my opinion, he's just too big of a crossover star to just go back to defending the title in the ranks like us hardcore fans want to see. He's here for the fucking big dog crossover pop fights, the ones that are gonna get everybody watching. And I don't think that's just what we all want to see, but it's going to be Nate Diaz or George St. Pierre, one of those two, and I think it'll be MMA. Jordan Walsh said, do you see Conor returning? Yes, but it's only going to be for Nate Diaz or GSP. Don Farrakhan said, who do you think the 4 women's champions will be a year from now? Congratulations on 3K. Strawweight a year from now at 115, I will say Joanna Jędrzejczyk. 125, I will say Valentina Shevchenko. 135 bantamweight, I will say Amanda Nunes. 145, I will say Chris Cyborg, Don Farrakhan, and much appreciation on the congratulations. With that being said, let's move to the next question. El Chapo, winner of RDA versus Lawler. I just put up those predictions. I am going with RDA, and what I'll say is what I said in that video. I feel like RDA is the better technical, overall well-rounded fighter, but I feel like Robbie Lawler might be the better welterweight. RDA has looked good in his move up to welterweight, but we didn't get to see much in the Neil Magny fight, as he submitted Neil Magny in the first round, and then in the Tarek Saffiedine fight, he looked good, but Tarek Saffiedine is not Robbie Lawler. Tarek Saffiedine is not a top 5 ranked middle welterweight that is a former UFC champion, but Robbie Lawler has been through a lot of wars. Some of his wins, you know what I'm saying, were wars. Even in his loss, he got his eggs scrambled a little bit by Tyron Woodley. So I feel like if it was Robbie Lawler, championship Robbie Lawler, he would beat RDA at welterweight. But I just don't know, even though Robbie Lawler won his last fight versus Donald Cerrone, I don't know if Robbie Lawler is, and if you listen to my predictions, dog, I swear to God, on this fight, I flipped a coin. Like, going with my head, I said I was going to pick RDA, but it's just so hard on this fight to call. I flipped a coin, and RDA still came out. So I'm picking RDA, but as I said, I feel like RDA is a little bit better. He's a overall better fighter, pound for pound wise, better technical fighter. But Robbie Lawler might be a better welterweight right now. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to the fight. El Chapo is next as well. He said, do you think Nate Diaz should take a fight without Conor involved? And who could bring Nate a payday without Conor in any weight class? For Nate Diaz, man, it's going to have to be, as far as without Conor involved, I would say like a Tyron Woodley or a Champion. And even Tyron Woodley's not even that much money. He's just, through his TMZ and his own promotions and his little bit of movies he's done and just stuff like that, his own promotions, just a little bit bigger of a star, you would think, than some of these other guys, because who else could it be? If it's not Tyron Woodley, it's going to be at lightweight. And if it's at lightweight, it's most likely going to be Tony Ferguson or who? I mean, it's Conor McGregor, or you got to give him that $15 million contract. He either wants those Conor McGregor pay-per-views or money to come back, because he doesn't need to fight. So do I think he should take a fight without Conor involved? The MMA fan in me wants to see it, but if I were Nate Diaz, or if I were Nate Diaz's manager, no, I would not be having him take a fight without Conor involved unless they gave you that much money to show up, because I mean, you don't need to do that. You know, you might damage your brand going out there and getting slammed around or something, or you know, if you fought a fucking welterweight wrestler and getting slammed around, you might damage your brand. People might not want you to show up and smoke weed with them. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a side thought. You might, and that's kind of a joke. They might not want you to show up and smoke weed with them, you know, because that's one of the things the Diaz brothers do. They have opportunities outside of MMA. They can do showings and appearings and signings and get paid just off of that stardom that they have at this point. So I just don't see a reason to risk that if you're Nate Diaz, if you're not going to be fighting Conor again and making just that fucking boatload of cash. So if I were him, I don't think he should, but as a fan, yes, I would love to see him back, and I don't think anybody can bring him that Conor payday, just even $1 million buys, without Nate Diaz, unless it was somebody that has formerly like fought Nick Diaz. You know, like I think if Nate fought Tyron and then something happened and then maybe Nick could fight Tyron, like that would be interesting type shit. But as far as, yeah, no, pretty much long story short, no. Jordan Walsh said, what's next for Alexander Gustafsson? What's next for Alexander Gustafsson? I think he'll be fighting the winner of Daniel Cormier, and Alexander Gustafsson will be fighting the winner of Daniel Cormier and Volkan Ozdemir, unless he wants another fight by then. I do know Glover Teixeira is about to fight Misha Serkinov. I don't know if Gustafsson might just want a payday and fight someone while he waits on the title shot. But yeah, I think it'll be the title shot, the winner of Gustafsson. I mean, the winner of Cormier and Ozdemir. Jordan Walsh said, do you see Eddie versus Dustin rematch happening? Interesting, very interesting. I don't know what Eddie wants. I definitely think it should. I mean, it's kind of interesting how that fight ended, and then for Eddie to just Dustin Poirier, he said it this way, you know, it was a no contest, but instead of us getting that immediate rematch, Eddie was like giving the Ultimate Fighter and a big fight versus Justin Gaethje. Eddie, so I don't know. Eddie Alvarez did just get a big win. He's got some momentum. He's definitely got that Conor loss, so he's probably definitely a bigger star than Dustin at this point. But I don't know if Dustin is one of those guys that's like, I'm a bigger fighter. I want a big fight. I want a big name, you know, like that. But no. I just think, yeah, I think it's got to happen. Do I see it happening? I think it should. The only way it doesn't happen is if Eddie says no, kind of about what I was talking about just a second ago. But Dustin's campaigning for it, And I did say before the Eddie Alvarez-Justin Gaethje fight, if Eddie wins, I think Dustin gets the rematch. If Gaethje wins, they might try and give him a bigger fight, but I do think it needs to happen just for the controversial ending. Dustin Poirier, if I remember correctly, I mean, I know he was winning the first round, but whenever he did say he couldn't continue, right? I mean, it was just pretty controversial, man. Maybe he was trying to get the DQ. He didn't think it was going to be just like a no contest like that. I don't know. It's always weird just when those endings happen like that. So I definitely see it happening, but I just don't know. We'll see what Eddie wants. We know Dustin wants it. Jordan Walsh said, what's next for Jose Aldo? Jose Aldo could fight the winner. If he doesn't, he might go to boxing. He's talked about that. He might want to fight Ricardo Lamas, who was originally scheduled to fight. I mean, if Frankie Edgar's going to fight Max Holloway next, then he might fight Ricardo Lamas, who he was originally scheduled to fight. So yeah, either boxing or Ricardo Lamas. Next, Russ said, yo, I just noticed that new logo. It's looking clean. Yeah, I've got a shout out to Rizzo Designs for that one. He threw those to me, yeah. Definitely still shout out to Darren OTFT, though. I just started making Darren stuff look a little bit tacky, adding my own little tags and the little Facebook thing. But yeah, he cleaned that up for me, so that's what's up. Don Farrakhan said, who do you have winning the Whitaker versus Rockhold fight at UFC 221 and why, dog? Whitaker, I got to go with Whitaker. It's hard for me. If Rockhold didn't just get knocked out by Bisping, I would be saying Rockhold all day, because Rockhold was looking like one of the best middleweights out there, and he probably still is. But Whitaker has literally defied all odds to get to that interim title. It's kind of like Max Holloway or Tony Ferguson. Like, he had to fight through a murderer's row to get the interim title. He had to fight a streaking Derek Brunson who was knocking everybody out in the first round and was coming to do the same thing to him, but he turned it around on him and knocked out Derek Brunson. Then he had to fight Jacare, who he ended up just, shrugging off in a hell of a fight and beating him, shrugging him off, letting him get back up, doing his thug thizzle, knocking out Jacare. Then he fought Yoel Romero essentially on one leg and won that fight. So it's just gonna be, I gotta go with Whitaker. I feel like it's just his time right now, and it's a great fight. But everything, I can't pick against Whitaker, dog. Especially if he touches that chin, we know what could happen. So that's why I'm going with Whitaker. El Chapo said winner of Cyborg and Holly. Ooh. I've got to go with Cyborg. Although I do think Holly has a better chance than a lot of people give her. Next question. Don Farrakhan said, do quick shit still try to get your channel striked like a little bitch? Hashtag full-time family. No, he hasn't tried to in a long time. I'm assuming it's because my appeals went through and, YouTube is on their shit now. I'm pretty sure they can't just flag all of my videos and get it shut down without the appeal process anymore. I don't know. I'm assuming that's what happened. I mean, I haven't been getting fucked with. I don't know why he would have just stopped out of nowhere, but it is what it is. I definitely know them fucking patrons are dropping every month to month. So, we'll see where that goes. But as I said, I don't got no problems with that dude. If that dude hit me up and said, hey man, let's do a fucking call, my dumb ass would probably do it, even though I know a lot of you guys are probably like, fuck that guy. I don't give a fuck. I'm not burning no bridge. It ain't that serious to me. He did some whole shit. I called him out on it, and I would address that if we ever did a call, and he could address his shit, his issues with me. It is what it is, dog. Let you know what I'm saying. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you tell man in the comments. Jordan Walsh, she said, who's next for Donald Cerrone at the lightweight return? It's looking like someone named like something. I just seen an article. It's like a lightweight prospect, like something. It's another who the fuck is that guy moment. It's like Darren Till, I guess, of lightweight. Another guy that's a prospect that if he wins, people will know who he is. But it's something like, it starts with a T, Tizamov or Tusamov, something like that. It's really close. They said he's already signed the contract. They're just waiting on Cerrone to sign the contract, and we know Donald Cerrone is not the one to turn down a fight. But he did say he's going to be, a little more careful with the fights he takes. So it would be interesting to see Donald Cerrone coming back quick. So maybe the fight will be scheduled. I mean, just because his fight with Darren Till was just in October, I don't want to see Donald Cerrone come back until he's fully healed up and ready, especially with him talking about reducing his fight frequency. Come back in like April or something, dog. Don't rush it. So it's looking like a lightweight prospect, but I am not sure. Jordan Walsh said, what's the best martial arts style in my opinion? I think I don't know if you mean by entertaining or just like the best base to be like one of the best fighters. If you're talking about the most entertaining, clearly striking. But if you're talking about what do I think like the best martial arts style is, as far as if you want to be successful at the highest level, I just think you have to have some form of really high level wrestling. I think even if the fans don't enjoy your fights, you always have that in your back pocket. You're going against a striker. If you can get him to the ground, you can kind of just control him and get the decision, even though sometimes you won't be rewarded with it. But I just think if you start off with a really strong wrestling base, you'll be better off learning your striking and, you know, defensive jiu-jitsu, especially in the heavier weight classes. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, I mean, you still have to have a variety. You can't only know how to wrestle, even though I think you're better off if you only know how to wrestle than if you only know how to strike. It still kind of depends on the matchups. If you're like a kickboxer coming over to MMA and they throw you to a well-rounded fighter with a strong wrestling base, you're probably going to lose. But yeah, so you get the point. I'll just say a strong wrestling base. Next, I'm Him said congrats, much appreciated. I'm Him 247. Seismic Shock said well done, big man. They burnt your little house down twice. You built a castle. All hell the motherfucking king. You bagel biting bitch tits. 3K hashtag day one hitter. Hashtag full time family. Hashtag time to smoke one up, bro. I'm out of sticks, or I would have been smoking one for this video. I can't even lie to you, but I'm about to quit soon. Whatever stops the tears said congratulations on 3K. What do you think is next for Kelvin Gastelum? Who do you think Mighty Mouse actually takes the fight with Dillashaw? Do you think Max beats anybody in the top 5 at lightweight? And what's your favorite weed strain? Alright, I'll answer those one at a time. First of all, what do you think is next for Kelvin Gastelum? I'm going to say he was wanting a fight with interim title fight with Robert Whittaker, but what I want to see for Kelvin Gastelum is him to get with the UFC's Performance Institute or a really high-level nutritionist and go down to 170. But he just almost missed weight at 185, so I just think that's unrealistic. So I think he's just going to fight the top middleweight contenders until he goes back down to 170 or until he wins the title. I mean, if he fights a Chris Weidman again, I don't think he can beat somebody like Chris Weidman, who's just got that strong wrestling base, who's just a bigger person. But he's always got the chance to clip somebody up and drop them and hopefully knock them out before they can kind of control him. So I think he has a better chance versus Robert Whittaker than he would like a Chris Weidman, because Robert Whittaker is a former welterweight, but also Robert Whittaker's not looking to just wrestle him and shit. So Kelvin Gastelum can beat the top middleweights. It's just when he goes against that bad matchup, if he ever did become the interim champion or the champion and he had to face Chris Weidman then I think he would lose that fight there. So he's a great middleweight, but he's just always going to have that bad matchup with the highest level wrestlers, I believe. And at welterweight or 175, I just think it would be all. I think that's what he should probably be fighting at, but it's just the weight cutting issues. Next question, you said, do I think he actually takes the fight with Dillashaw, Mighty Mouse? I do believe so. Dana White's, of course, Dana White said it, but Mighty Mouse has recently said everybody wants to see the snake fight. He also said if the stars align, he would take the fight. But Pettis was streaking. But since Sergio Pettis just lost, I do think that's one of the stars that had to align. So next, it's just about the money, and I think the UFC is going to get it done because everybody wants to see it. So yes, I do think he takes the fight with Dillashaw, especially if Dillashaw is trying to cut down to 125, which I heard he's doing a test cut now. So do I think Max beats anybody in the top 5 at welterweight? I definitely think if he won, yeah. Max could beat a lot of people in at lightweight. I said welterweight. I mean, do I think Max beats anybody in the top 5 at lightweight? Yeah, I think Max could beat a lot of people at lightweight. He is a little young, and he might have the problem of maybe getting taken down. He might have the Kelvin Gastelum problem if he moves up, but I can't think of anybody in the top 5 at lightweight that's just, except for Khabib. So yeah, he might have a problem with a Khabib, but if you're talking about a fucking Conor McGregor or a Tony Ferguson or Edson Barboza, sign me up. I'll watch that, and I think Max has a chance. And especially if he wanted to really put on a little more weight and go up to lightweight, which he could do. He said he's might go up to lightweight, might go up to welterweight, and if you're in all of that shit. So if he was done with featherweight and wanted to put on the weight and go up, he could definitely be successful at lightweight. But yeah, give him a good matchup, give him a striker up there, and he's definitely always got a chance. Or get anybody like that. Just don't give him Khabib, and I think Max beats people in the top 5 of lightweight. What's my favorite weed strain? I don't really have a favorite weed strain because I'm not really from somewhere where you just get to pick your weed strains and just try this flavor today and try that flavor tomorrow. And where I live, since it's not just like legal and we don't just have facilities around and people can get something and kind of like say it's something else. So like, let me tell that my favorite strain is some shit called strawberry cough. But that wasn't like out of a fucking sealed fresh or a medicine jar that said strawberry cough. It's just some shit that someone said was strawberry cough. That was some fucking fire. But I don't know if that was actually what it was. And since I don't smoke it often enough, or to like different strains, like blueberry today, strawberry tomorrow, fucking granddaddy spider balls next week, I couldn't really just tell you a favorite strain. I would enjoy to be able to do that, but for one, I'm broke. For two, there's not really just fucking medical weed where I'm at, so I don't have that option. But Colorado is like right next door to us, so I've had like official strains, but not enough to just say which one is my favorite of all. But with that being said, it is what it is. And I smoke a lot of fucking Reggie right now, to be honest, man. It's a lot cheaper for how much I fucking smoke. So with that, I mean, it is what it is. One day in the future, I'm sure, I mean, especially with weed being legal everywhere, and I know it's cheap, like in Colorado, which I don't live there. I might move there in the future. But I know it's cheap and shit up there. So, I mean, it's not like it's just super too expensive like that. But it's too expensive for me, and I plan on quitting soon anyway. So yeah, I don't really have a favorite weed strain, but there's my little fucking rant on that. MMA from the Heartland said, congrats bro, much appreciated dog. MMA from the Heartland also said, hey, if they strip Conor and make Ferg the unified champ, do you think it'll be worse on Ferg than it was for DC, or do you think that's just DC? I'd assume Conor stands will flip shit on Ferg because of some shit. I don't know, what do you think? You do bring up a good point, but I don't think it'll be as bad DC, for one, because people like Ferguson's fighting style, and for two, he's kind of cleared out the division. It's not, and there's no, and another huge part is Conor McGregor didn't knock out, a huge part of it is Conor McGregor has not beat Tony Ferguson. Whenever DC got John Jones's belt, they were like, yeah, but you didn't beat him for the belt, and he has beat you. Here it's just like Conor's doing other shit, and you know, it's not like they can say, yeah, but Conor already knocked you out, Tony. Like, Max Holloway does face that problem because Conor's beat him. Tony Ferguson has never been beat by Conor McGregor, so no, I don't think so. And also, he's got an exciting fighting style. Daniel Cormier can't just come out and you know, shut everybody up with his fucking fights. You know what I'm saying? He needs you to either be on his side or you might just not like him, especially with his fighting style. If he comes out and lays on Anderson Silva, that pisses people off because they're looking for an exciting fight, and he's doing what he has to do to get the win. So I do think it'll be different in the Tony Ferguson case. 20 times Man United said 3K already. The other day you had 2.7. Day one on deck. Yeah, man, I don't even really be paying attention to that shit, to be honest, like that, because on YouTube, like on my screen, as soon as I hit 2,500, it says 3K, but it doesn't. So it's like hard for me to pay attention to the count unless I'm really paying attention, which I'm not, because I mean, it's definitely dope and all, but it's still just something I'm doing. You know, I just do this I just come downstairs and fucking get to work, and I don't pay attention to I don't even check my emails before I get to work sometimes. I don't check the subscriber count. I check the comments. I check the news. Do my thug thizzle, man. So it's awesome. I didn't even notice when I was at 2.7 how long it took to get to 3K, but I just know we're at 3K and we're on the way. With that being said, 20 times Man United also said Ngannou or Stipe. Ooh, I think I'm going to make the mistake of picking Stipe. It's too hard for me to, man, I don't know. Ngannou, See, going into the Alistair fight, I said, let's be honest. Even if Francis beats Alistair, who's going to pick him over Stipe? But the way that he beat fucking Alistair is kind of like, damn, it might be me. So, damn, bro. I'm gonna probably pick Stipe, and I'm probably gonna be wrong whenever Francis Ngannou knocks him out, but I would probably pick Stipe at this moment in time. 20 times Man United said TJ or DJ. At 125, I really think I'm gonna pick Demetrius Johnson, bro. At 135, I might pick TJ, but at 125, I think the weight, I mean, he's having a test weight cut, TJ, and if it goes bad, he might not even go down. But if he goes down to 125, I just really feel like that's Demetrius Johnson's world. It's gonna be such a great fight. If it happens, though, I don't know, man. Maybe they could fight either like at 125 and then 135 and then once at 130. Who knows? I don't know. But I would probably say Demetrius Johnson right now at 125. 20 times Man United said your personal favorite UFC card. I'm gonna say UFC 217. Just that, yeah, 217. Just because everything that happened on that card, man. All the champions lost their belts. That was just a shock in every fashion. It was GSP's return fighting Michael Bisping. You could say what you want about that fight, but still, Cody Garbrandt, TJ Dillashaw, Thug Rose versus Joanna. I mean, Jorge Masvidal, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. It was just a great night of fights. Paulo Barachian fought Johnny Hendricks on that card. I think that was probably my favorite card for sure. Mega Monkey said, did Trollbuster apologize to you? I've seen Trollbuster in the comment sections lately. Is that really him? If so, credits to him. It takes a man to realize his mistakes. My question to you is personal. Did you ever think your channel would get to 3K subs when you started it? How much time do you spend making your vids? How do you even have time? I know you have a job to put up so many videos as you do. Okay, so I'll answer this, and this question might go on for a while. Did Trollbuster apologize to you? I'll start off. Somewhat. I don't know. He didn't come out and say I apologize full-time MMA. I'm truly sorry. Please forgive me. But I knew though, man. Trollbuster was my dog. I knew he was just salty that day. But still, you ain't gonna be acting like a fucking hoe and talking about, no, I don't want to fight anybody in the comments. I want to fight the YouTuber, and expect me to just leave that shit in my fucking comments. You know what I'm saying? So, eventually, and he was on my Snapchat kinda, so I kinda knew that was him on my Snapchat because he added me. Because whenever I first started my Snapchat, I didn't realize I could just open it to the public, so I had to add everybody that added me, so I thought I had to. But so I had Trollbuster on my Snapchat for a while, and I think I hit him up in a video, and I was like, hey Trollbuster, if that's you on my Snapchat, hit me up, and I'll unblock you or let me know or something. He was like, yeah man, I was just in my feelings that day, blah blah blah. I unblocked him. It wasn't no fucking coming out in public apology. I was just trolling with that shit. But yeah, that's really him in the comment section, man. So yeah, fucking day one's on deck. That's what I said, man. I don't hold no grudges. It ain't like that, man. I ain't trying to it ain't that serious to me. Next, the personal question. Did I ever think my channel would get to 3,000 subs when I started it? Dude, no, but I mean, honestly, if I'm just to be honest with you, 3,000 subs doesn't mean much to me because I've never had a YouTube channel before, so there's nothing for me to compare it to. I do know that it's pretty dope that there's actually, like, the fact that there's interaction with you guys lets me know that it's something and there's more people, and I do see the good comments and the good words. You guys say that, you know, you enjoy it, and I can see that a lot of people appreciate the stuff, so that's more dope to me than like 3,000 subs. The fact that you guys actually enjoy what I'm doing is fucking what's kind of shocking to me. So I 3,000 subs was that I never had like, man, I don't think I'll ever hit 4K though. But man, now that I'm at 3K, I'm done at 7K. You know what I'm saying? So, I did have pussy ass microwave though tell me one time, whenever, you know, my channel was getting reset, and you know, people were kind of telling me, oh man, are you seriously fucking just back there on YouTube? You should be fucking doing, I don't even know, there's nothing better for me to fucking do. That's another thing. But you know, whenever people would try and throw the shit in my face, like when I would tell them like, hey man, I'm fucking actually doing this YouTube shit, it's you know, because to me it was kind of funny. I used to listen to MMA quick shits every day, and you know, I just listened to him. It was like, oh man, I come here every day. That's crazy how all the content out there, I come to this shit. That's pretty fucking, it's pretty crazy. And then so for him to shut down and me to kind of come in that place, like my cousin who showed me the channel, to me it's just kind of like mind blowing. Like, isn't it pretty funny that I'm the new MMA quick shits? Like, to me it's just kind of funny. But what I was saying is, like, I've had people like especially my, oh, you'll never hit 2K subs. I'm like, what? I mean, I just don't see how I wouldn't. It's a constant rise, you know what I'm saying? So did I think I would get to 3K subs? No, but I mean, I didn't think I would get to 1K. I didn't think I would get to 100. I didn't think about making a YouTube channel, so I didn't think I would. No, but am I surprised? No. I did know I'm talented, but I didn't have no fucking, I didn't have the supply, the demand. Like, I've tried to do streaming stuff. Like I was gonna try Twitch out before and shit like that, just because I knew I had the personality that was entertaining, but it would have, there was no like people looking for fucking whatever my name was on Twitch, fucking this guy Twitch. Now that I had this supply and demand of MMA quick shits, and I could just put that MMA quick shits too, then that's what brought people to see who I was. So I didn't expect anything when I started. Like I said, I didn't have the programs to make the audios. I didn't have the programs to make the videos. I just kind of fucking took my phone and set a couple things into the phone and put it up. And I was like, man, if this gets 100 views and 5 thumbs up, I'll be surprised. And it might have had 200 views and 10 thumbs up. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this again. And then eventually I just learned how to make it better. Then the fuckboy started fucking with me, shit like that. So you said, how much time do I spend making my videos? That all depends. If I'm making a video where there's multiple different thumbnails, it takes longer, because I've got to make multiple thumbnails, and then I've got to like listen to it and decide like when to put the thumbnails in the videos and shit. So those take longer. Or if I'm doing predictions and I've got to research everything in the video, those take, that takes longer. But if I'm just doing a news topic like Stipe Miocic versus Ngannou announced, that can take me as little as 15 minutes. I mean, I just got to record what I'm thinking and then clip up the thumbnail, which is essentially putting a picture in paint, kind of, because now that I've got like the templates of my banner on top, I just put the picture in the middle, clip out the title, put that on, paste the title on there, and just slap it on the movie maker. But if I'm actually making different thumbnails, it can take longer. But just the actual news clips don't take long to make. Everything else, doing research, can add on to that. You said, how do I even have time? I have a job to put up so many vids as I do. Well, the thing about my job is I have one, but it's not as full-time as it once was. I got hired on part-time because I was going to school too, like fucking I was going to a community college and shit, and I didn't have long left. And the job I have is perfect, because even hired part-time, which is 20 hours, you work at your own leisure. Like, you literally pick shifts up as you go. You don't get scheduled, you make your own schedule, which worked for me then because there was a lot of shifts. And it's like, okay, if I got a lot of homework, I don't have to work, and if it's an easy week, I can pick up as many shifts as I need. Well, now I kind of fucked up my last semester. I would have had my 2-year degree, but I fucked up on my last semester just being a fucking pothead, I guess. I don't know. My grades were really good, so I was just riding the thin line of, okay, I've got one last day before I'm technically kicked out because of not showing up. I know I've got all my work done, but I can, I ride the thin line of if I miss one more day, they'll kick me out because of not showing up, but I just won't miss that one last day. Well, then that's when, always when something actually happens, like, oh shit, like last times I missed school just because I knew we weren't doing shit today. But now when my fucking car actually breaks down, oh, that was my last day. So I got kicked out for a stupid reason. I had like a 3.75 GPA and shit. So, I mean, I was doing good. I just fucked up. So that's when I started working full time, because I had that job that allowed me to do that, and which I'm a fucking custodian, a master of the custodial arts pretty much, which for like public buildings. So I clean like offices and rooms and shit like that. In the summers we strip floors and clean carpets and fucking, during the year we clean just basic shit, offices, bathrooms, fucking gyms, weight rooms and shit like that. But during the year, that's when we start actually doing detail in the fucking buildings and the walls and the floors, stripping up the floors, waxing the floors, cleaning the carpets and shit like that. But as of right now, man, where I'm hired, they hired on hella people. There used to be hella shifts, because technically I'm a independent contractor. I make my own schedule. But now they've hired so many independent contractors, because we're not benefit or anything, so they can just hire as many people as they need. So as to where there used to be like maybe 2 shifts for us to choose, 3 separate shifts for us to choose from each day, we always had work. Now you've got to be fucking checking like every hour, or somebody's gonna pick up that shift, and only one of them might pop up a day. But there's like 100 of us hired, as to where there used to be only like 25. So it's really hard to find shifts. So I haven't found shifts recently, but the thing is, I live with my brother and his girl and also my girl, so we're kind of like roommates. So we split the rent, and we've all got jobs. My girl's got a job. Michael, he's got the same job as me. We're both like, we do the same thing, literally exactly. So, and then his girl's also got a job. So we all split rent. Rent's only like $850 a month between the four of us, because rent's not that high where we're at. We stay in like a fucking house, but we've got kind of like a person on the side of us, sort of like a duplex, but they've just kind of got a piece of it. Ours is like the bigger part of the house. But so we split rent, so it's not like if I don't work 40 hours a week, I'm gonna be homeless. My problem was like why I was really having to put in all of those hours and put in all of those shifts at the beginning is because I was kind of in debt. My car broke down at the same time that my dog got parvo, and I didn't have this channel income at all, which, you know, the donations have definitely started to help. And I just got my first YouTube check like 2 weeks ago, which was for $200, and then they sent me another one for $200 from all, I guess, the back shit that they owed me, which it was supposed to be more than that, but they could only pay me for some. So now I've gotten $400 total from YouTube, which definitely helped me fucking get out of that. I've paid back my fucking payday loan. I used to owe Michael like fucking $900. I only owe him like $400. So I'm doing a little bit better than I was when I started the channel, as far as to where and even to where I was just a couple of months ago, as far as where I'm not in such an urgent rush to where I have to have 40 hours a week, or else I'm gonna be fucking homeless in a couple of weeks, as that's where I was whenever I had that fucking payday loan out, and I owed fucking multiple people, like my dad, who he's not even doing good. He had to try and help me out to get a car whenever my shit broke down. And so, I mean, I just had a lot of stuff going on, which well, not even started. I'm well on my way of getting out of that bullshit. So I'm not in as urgent of a situation as I was. So I don't have to be like as desperate to find shifts and find 40 hours a week. And since I'm not as desperate, it's really hard to find them, because, you know, whenever I was desperate for it, I was having to check for a shift every hour and just take whichever one I could get wherever I could get it, whether it's across town or whatnot. But now I can kind of like check for it, and if it's a shift close to me and I'm not gonna, you know, it's not gonna be too inconvenient, I can take those shifts. And just with the 2 or 3 shifts I can get a week now, plus my girl's income, it's enough to cover our half of the rent, you know what I'm saying, and our expenses. So now that I don't owe as much shit, I can put out more videos, because I'm pretty much working a little less, unintentionally or intentionally, because even if I fucking wasn't doing YouTube right now, it would be harder for me to find shifts, as I said. And especially like we don't work throughout holidays, so coming up we've got, you know, through Thanksgiving it was not up to us, you know. We don't get to work Thanksgiving, we don't get to work, we're off 2 weeks for Christmas, we don't get that paid or anything. So really the channel is what's helping me get through that shit. So even though I'm not getting much money from it, shit, it's still productive to me to spend my time off of work on the channel. So hope I answered your questions in that. I probably answered a little too much and told you guys shit you didn't even give a fuck about, but who really gives a fuck, you know what I'm talking about? What else you got to do? Listen to this as you're doing something else, man, or turn the shit off. Back to the questions. 20 times Man United said, banner looks nice as fuck, much appreciated, good sir. Alex Sanchez said, super trash versus the old man whose name does not need to be said. Who wins? Place Starbucks. Ooh, that's a good one, but I'm going with double knockout. It's gonna look kind of like that fucking, what's his name, Matthew Klein Cater versus that fucking dude that everyone thought it was a fake fight. It's gonna look kind of like that, and then they're gonna both swing double knockout. Seismic Shock said, fuck paragraphs, I come to this channel first to get all my MMA news and to get your honest opinions on things, right or wrong. Too many MMA channels trying to be all professional and don't speak their mind or restrict their opinions on what they really think is going on with fighters and other fights. Others will ask for donations while you couldn't give a fuck about money. I have a huge respect for genuine people. Stay real and down to earth. I much appreciate it. It's not that I couldn't give a fuck about money. I just don't expect anything. Like, I do give a fuck about money. Everybody gives a fuck about money, but like, as far as asking for donations and shit like that, that'll never be me. But I definitely, you see I got fucking commercials on them bitches now that my AdSense is running, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand what you're saying, and I'm just kind of giving you shit. I really appreciate the kind words, and one thing I will say is I do get a little bit too much credit, I think, because it's not that I'm just giving, you know, a lot of these people who talk MMA and shit like that, they're in the sport. Like when you talk about the Brendan Schaubs and the Joe Rogans and the Ariel Helwanis, they're all in the sport. They know fighters. I literally have never met one professional MMA fighter. I don't have anybody like in my family that's got something to lose from something I say. So I can just give you my open opinion because I'm literally a fucking nobody. Like, it's not anything special that I'm doing. It's just I don't have any I don't have any relationships to protect, anybody's feelings to hurt. I don't know anybody. I've had 2 UFC fighters comment on fucking one of my videos now, and one of them was allegedly not real. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't, if fucking, let's say I fucking hung out with Sean O'Malley or something, you know what I'm saying, or interviewed him. Who knows? I might be biased on my next Sean O'Malley video. I don't fucking know. I've just never been there yet. So I appreciate it and everything. It's just, it is what it is right now, to be honest. And I don't give a fuck about money right now because I don't have any. You know what I'm saying? I don't have anything to lose. If I had I was gonna say $1,000, but if I had anything to, like, I don't even have a fucking car somebody could sue me for. I don't know the ins and outs of this shit yet. I'm brand new to this. I'm literally like one of you guys, probably fucking lesser, I would say. You know what I'm saying? Some of the people who listen to this channel actually, I don't know, might be somebody. I know that sounds kind of bad, but yeah, I'm just a fucking random bro. I don't have any relationships to protect or anything like that, and I don't have any fucking money to lose. And maybe if I had $100,000 or $10,000 and I had to worry about somebody suing me, it'd be different. But I'm motherfucking, when I started this channel, I was at like -87 in my bank account, and it was just past payday and shit, and I just got this YouTube check. So now I got like fucking $155 because I just paid rent. So you know what I'm saying? I got like $155, dog. Let's be real. That's probably where it comes from. But I'm sure if I grow, as I grow, that some of that shit might change a little bit if I have some shit to protect my fucking neck, dog. But Seismic Shock, you get the point, man. Everything is much appreciated. The kind words, all of that, and I appreciate that you come to this channel to get your MMA news, dog. I'm kind of, man, I don't even know if I want to, I don't know, man. It's all weird that this is even kind of still happening. I don't know. Nothing's even happening yet, man. I'm at 3,000 subscribers, dog. Even that's big, and I didn't expect it. There's people with 1 million subscribers on YouTube and shit, dog. 3,000? It's cool, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're just like a group of people that talk MMA right now. I don't really feel like I've done anything much yet. You know, I do have 3,000 subscribers, which I appreciate, but I just don't really know what that means yet. Phantom Screamer said, do you predict Conor comes back to MMA, and who do you think he'd fight? I have answered that before, but I will say it again because I've rambled a lot since then. If he comes back, it's going to be Nate Diaz or GSP, nobody else. Knight of Algae says, Mazel Tov, my friend. Barry Walters said, Rita Ora or D. Devlin. Man, just because Barry Walters is asking, I'll answer. Honestly, I don't know much about either one. I know D. Devlin is Conor's baby mama, and Rita Ora is the chick that was on that Black Widow song. So since I don't know much about D. Devlin, I just gotta go with Rita Ora, right? She's gotta have money. That picture she posted with Conor, she was looking delicious. So I'm going with Rita Ora. Why would I want D. Devlin, aside from the fact that she's Conor's fucking baby mama, you know what I'm saying? Seismic Shock said, Tony elbows with cheese Ferguson, Conor the crackhead McGregor, Eddie steady now Alvarez, Khabib cakes and pies fat bastard waste of time Nurmagomedov, Justin did your dad fuck his sister Gaethje. Seismic Shock, what are you saying? Dustin the Turkey Poirier, Kevin the Ugly. What are all of those your names for these dudes? Some of those almost fucking made me laugh. That's pretty fucking funny, dog. Oh, it's fucking funny, man. The MMA vlogger Real Talk Forum said, full-time MMA, how come Cyborg doesn't fight Gabby Garcia? To be honest, that's probably the only fight that makes sense because they're like best friends. And man, I don't even know, dog. Gabby Garcia, she's over there. I don't even know much about Gabby Garcia except she's over there fucking bitches up, bro. But yeah, that would be a interesting fight. But if it happened, it would be like some WWE Risen type shit. I don't even know. I've never seen a Gabby Garcia fight, to be honest. Next, the MMA vlogger Real Talk Forum said, full-time MMA, How come Cyborg won't fight Amanda Nunes? Wouldn't she have to go to 135? If Amanda came up, she probably would. I didn't hear her say that she would never fight her, but that would be news to me if you're saying that she said she would never fight Amanda, because I'm not aware of any relationship they've had as far as like training partners that would prevent that fight from happening. The only reason I would see it not happening is Amanda Nunes not going up to 145. MMA vlogger Real Talk Forum said, full-time MMA, do you think Stipe can beat? And I say this because Alistair dropped Stipe in the first round. Do you think Stipe can beat? I say this, I'm guessing you're talking about Ngannou. I know that's what's interesting. If Frank touches Stipe, yeah, he can. But Alistair's got the striking skill level to be able to maybe penetrate Stipe's boxing. I'm wondering if Francis Ngannou's skills, his striking skill level, is going to be enough to touch Stipe, between Stipe's footwork and his boxing skills and his wrestling. I don't know. I do think if Francis Ngannou touches Stipe, he'd knock him out, of course. As we've seen, Alistair dropped Stipe, and these guys are heavyweights. But the question is, will Francis be able to get to Stipe before the latter championship rounds? I really don't know. It's going to be a great fight, and I'm glad it's official. But yeah, he can he beat him? For sure. Will Francis beat Stipe? I'm not sure. Bleak Dason, congratulations, that was fast. Hashtag fuck Oscar, much appreciated, good sir. Seismic Shock said, what's your thought on the UFC since the takeover hasn't made it different, really? I think it has made it a little different because, you know, before fighters had good relationships with the Fertittas and Dana White, and it was kind of like a mom and pop's, you know, business or something, like a, you know what I'm saying? Now it's kind of like it's kind of like a corporation or an organization, and it's just a little different. It feels a little different to me whenever people, if you have a complaint about what's going on, like as far as the entertainment era is concerned, or just some of the fights being made, it feels like fighters probably have less resolution to their answers. I don't know. I mean, we don't, even the fans in the media, not just the fighters, but even the fans in the media, we don't hear as much from them, you know what I'm saying? And we just don't even know who, aside from Dana White, who are the names, you know what I'm saying? We hear about Ari Emanuel, but I just don't know. I honestly do feel like it's got different. It's a little different. I don't know. I really want it to eventually get back toward a sport. I want to see the UFC become a sport. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if they want to take it there. I just feel like, I mean, you want to have the best fighting the best, you know what I'm saying? You don't, but I mean, obviously, now this is going to be a side note. Like, I'm a fan of like rap and hip hop and shit, and this is happening in the hip hop world too. Like, they're signing like the Cash Me Outside girl to record deals because she's popular. The popular people, you know, and the people who just have the most talent, they're getting pushed back a little bit for the most popular people. The people that are coming out and getting a huge Instagram or social media following and are becoming popular, these people are getting record deals now. And it's kind of like the same thing. I see the fucking, you know, parallels between the MMA world. The most popular people get the opportunities, and it's just interesting that it's happening in both worlds. So I don't know if it'll go back to a sport or if that's just the new trend of 2017 coming into 2018. Next, you said, who has the funniest personality? I have to go for Rampage, hands down. It's got to be Rampage, Derek Lewis, or man, there's some funny people. Conor McGregor's funny, man, for sure. Yeah, so I'd say Derek Lewis, Rampage, Conor, they're all funny as hell. Bisping's funny. With next question Seismic Shock had was, have you ever left the USA? Have you ever left the USA? And if not, where would you like to go if you got tickets to any fight outside this? Not only have I not left the UFC, I keep saying the UFA, like the UFC, like UFC. No, not only have I not left the USA, dog, I've never left as an adult. I've never left Kansas. As a kid, like when my mom was going around and being a Rolling Stone and traveling, and we were kids and shit in the back of the car, we went to like Houston for like a year, Texas for like a year, and like Denver, Colorado for like a year, and Oklahoma like 1 year, but we were kids, like, you know, 4th grade, 5th grade, so we didn't really get to do anything. And now as an adult, we've just been back where we were born and raised, back in Kansas. So no, I haven't. I've like literally been nowhere. I'm not very well traveled. I've got a lot of shit to see in my life. A lot of shit to do, dog. Yeah, like, you know, I grew up, you know what I'm saying, that shit costs money. You know, when we were in school, we didn't go on vacations. Whenever I was growing up, like, and shit through the public schools, we always, like, it was always a joke, but, you know, that was white people shit, being funny. I'm half white and half black, but people who actually went on vacations in the summer, or, you know, you hear about people, oh, we're going to fucking Mexico for the summer, oh, we're going to Miami spring break. That was always like white people shit to us. We never went on vacations and shit like that. So I mean, I would love to do that as an adult. I realized it's not just white people shit. That was just kind of like bullshit back in the day that you tell your fucking broke kids, like you just tell your kids, like, we don't fucking money, you know what I'm saying? But now as an adult, I would love to fucking travel. I've never been on a plane. I would like to travel in the USA. Like, I've got to get comfortable getting on a plane. So I would probably, like, if I did start to travel, I would probably start off traveling on a bus or a car or something like that. Just being 100% honest with you, because I've never been on a plane and that shit's kind of scary. So I don't know how I would even deal with that shit yet. So if this goes from being more than a YouTube channel, I don't know, man. There's just so much shit for me to experience that I've never experienced. That's why all of this shit is kind of unreal to me, because just thinking about that possibility and just shit that could happen, it's just really weird to me, bro. It's just really weird at this point. Noble7277 said, love you, bro. Holy shit, bro. Like, are you someone that knows me in real life that's commenting, or are you just like somebody in the full-time family that's saying you love me? Because that's pretty fucking dope, man. You know, love you too, bro, regardless. The MMA vlogger Real Talk Forum said, full-time MMA, what do you think about net neutrality? Well, MMA vlogger Real Talk Forum, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I think net neutrality is something that I see a lot of headlines about, that people say we should be worried about, that I have no fucking clue what it is, because it's way past my pay grade. I don't know shit about net neutrality, dog. I'm still trying to keep my internet on, whether it's neutral or not neutral. I'm just trying to keep my fucking internet bill paid, dog. You know what I'm saying? Cox just hit us with the fucking, you know, it's not just unlimited internet. Now you got a usage cap like a fucking cell phone, and if you go over your usage cap, instead of your bill being like 75 or 80 bucks, the shit's like 150, and I'm like, what the fuck, you time mess? So I don't know shit about net neutrality. It's past my pay grade. It would just be something to fucking, yeah, I really don't I don't fucking control any of that shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen as far as I'm concerned. That's just me personally, somebody who's got way more shit to fucking think about and deal with than net neutrality. I mean, I'll sign my signature if somebody comes up to me fucking and sounds really concerned. I'll give you my signature, but I don't got time for that shit. Sean McGrady said, yo, what do you think about Conor versus Tony? Tony gets hit. Kevin Lee was hitting him. I think Conor's gonna KO him stiff. I don't think Conor fights Tony. I mean, Conor's got a good chance. I'm not just gonna say Conor would fucking get smoked versus Tony Ferguson, but I do think Tony Ferguson might be the favorite in that fight. I don't think Conor would just KO him stiff, as you're saying. He's got the potential, but I just don't even think the fight's gonna happen. I think it's Conor's not fighting unless it's the biggest fights possible. If that fight were to happen, honestly, I might, if you asked me today, hold a gun to my head, who's gonna win fucking UFC 219, McGregor or Ferguson? I might say Ferguson, and that's just because all of the stuff that Conor's got going on outside the octagon that hasn't really involved MMA. Now, Conor is a fucking folk hero and a legend and all of that good shit, the champ, but Tony Ferguson is on like a 10 or 11 fight winning streak, and he's been waiting for Conor. But the thing about Conor is I just think he's bigger than defending his title at this point. I just think he's too Conor's like bigger than life right now, dog. He's like Tony Ferguson. Like, I'm not even excited pretending that I'm Conor McGregor trying to get excited for Tony Ferguson. Like, a Tony Ferguson, like, why would you just want to go in there and fight a fucking killer for the lead? You know how they always say you want to fight the lowest risk for the highest reward. Tony Ferguson is the exact opposite. He's the highest risk for the lowest reward, and that is exactly why that fight's not happening. Conor McGregor can literally fight Paulie Malignaggi in MMA and make more money than versus Tony Ferguson. And as stupid as that sounds, once you let it sink in, as Max Holloway said, He could do that, and if not, guess what? He could go fight in boxing and fight a 40-year-old, and even if he loses, make millions of dollars. So why would he fight Tony Ferguson? As I said, highest risk, lowest reward. Not happening. London Taylor said, "King, as always, I've been here from day one. Literally, much appreciated." London Taylor, A1 since day one. Day one hitters on deck. Fucking tell Matt. London Taylor said, "Do you think fighters should be paid equivalent as boxers?" No, I don't. Do they deserve it? Are they worth it? Yes, but that's not why I say no. I say no because boxing has been around longer, and you've got to respect that. There's been more time into boxing. There's more boxing fans. It's more established globally, and I don't even know, but I think there's probably more protections. Yeah, they've got the Ali Acts, and they've just got more protections. So, should they be? Now, if you're talking about, do I think so? If everything were perfect and, the UFC had unlimited money, yes, I do think fighters, to me, are worth more than boxers. But to the world, I don't think they are yet, as the UFC, you know what I'm saying? If you just look at the purses in the UFC, how much fighters get paid, well, I guess that's what the question's about. But, I mean, in the UFC, there still needs to be a lot of things that would have to happen, but I guess I'm making this too complicated, which I probably have on a lot of these questions. But as far as, do I think fighters should be paid the equivalent as boxers, they're worth it to me, but I just see why they're not. As far as they don't have any unions, they don't have the Ali Act even expanded to them yet. You know what I'm saying? The UFC just kind of has a lot of power over them to why they're not getting paid that much. So I think fighters are worth more than NBA and NFL players. If you're asking me, they train. You would think they train more. I mean, not only are they training multiple disciplines, but their training is more rigorous as they're getting slammed on mats and their ankles cranked and punched in the face and kicked in the legs all fucking day, which is a lot more grueling than shooting free throws and shooting three-pointers and practicing passing drills and kicking fucking field goals and doing pass drills. So to me, yeah, they should be paid more if you're talking about what they go through, but the MMA is just not as big. So next we move to my boy Stamina MC. He said, "I guess the question is as much for the full-timers as it is for you." So around this time of 2017 and the understandable excitement, etc., I recall seeing a fair few comments on Wastebook from friends saying stuff like, "Yeah, don't know about all this UFC stuff, bruh. Not really into watching topless dudes rolling around on top of each other." My immediate thought was, your loss, and kept it moving. But then I later had the thought to ask other MMA fans, if you were to pick, say, 3 fights and extra ratings if you can make one of them a WMMA fight, which don't have much ground action, or at least more ground and pound than simple wrestling, that you'd happily sit an MMA naysayer down to watch and be like, "Get through all of this, then look me in the eyes and tell me that's not entertainment, I fucking dare you." What would they be? Alright, I can definitely do that. I will say, well, here's yours. You said Cruz Garbrandt, Medeiros Oliveira, Gadea, and Draj, because to me they were exciting enough even for non-aficionados. Over to you. Alright, okay, so I'm gonna say, I've gotta fucking say Medeiros Oliveira because that's probably my favorite fight of all time at this point. Of course, I'm gonna say Michael Johnson, Justin Gaethje. I would say Francis Ngannou, Alistair Overeem. I can go to WMMA too. I would say, are you saying, and you can't explain any backstory, because I would say Joanna Rose, but as far as just pure excitement in a WMMA fight, we could go Amanda Nunes versus Miesha Tate, even though a lot of people would probably be sad watching that fight because you think Miesha Tate's so hot and you don't want to see her getting beat up. But you could go Amanda Nunes, Ronda Rousey. You could go what? Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's quite a few, but one of them that there's one of them on the list. Did I already say Michael Johnson, Justin Gaethje? Michael Johnson, Justin Gaethje. So I just named quite a few. I don't know if I overdid it, like if you just wanted my exact ones out of those, but there's some that I would say. Hope I didn't fucking overdo it on that. Obese Level DC said, "Congrats, man, much appreciated." Obese Level DC said, Do you see anyone beating Tyron Woodley at welterweight besides Rory McDonald? Honestly, if Rory and Tyron fought again today, I might go Tyron. But at welterweight today, very interesting. Nope, I just don't. It's just too hard, man. Just because he'll make it a boring fight if he has to. You know what I'm saying? He's a smart fighter as to where he's gonna put together a game plan. And he's going to go out there and try and get the win. And if he does that, if he sets his mind to getting the win and not giving a fuck about the crowd booing, then he's going to do whatever he needs to do to get that W. Who's coming up in the welterweight division? I mean, of course, there's guys that are explosive strikers that might be able to knock him out. But if you're going to use a wrestling approach or a jiu-jitsu approach, I think he'll just try and, keep it off the ground, kind of like he did with Damian Maia. Yeah, I don't know what it's gonna take to beat Tyron Woodley. I think, and this is just me as a fucking custodian, mind you, YouTuber, I've got to say this. What I think Tyron Woodley is gonna take to beat Tyron Woodley is somebody that can make him be active in the first 3 rounds, that can keep up the pace and then break him down in the 4th or 5th round. Because what it's looked like to me with Tyron Woodley is a lot of people used to question his gas tank, but what he's started to do in his fights is kind of conserve his energy, or as Conor McGregor would say, be efficient with his energy, to where he doesn't have too much output in the 1st and 2nd and 3rd round. That way he's still got enough energy, you know what I'm saying, to not gas in the 4th and 5th round. But I do think with Tyron Woodley's muscle mass, if he had to put out a high level of output early in the rounds, it might wear him down and then he could lose. But I don't know who would be able to do that to him, because if Tyron Woodley is putting out early output on you, that early output could very well be the end of you. If that early output includes an overhand right that connects, then you might not make it past the early output. So I think he's smart enough to last to 5 rounds if he needs to, and then if you try and pressure him too much soon, I just think he's the current welterweight champion. Maybe in 2 years, when Tyron's 37, I don't know his exact age, I think it's like 35. Whenever Tyron's 37 or 38, maybe somebody will be right there. Maybe the youth catch up to the experience or something. But yeah, right now, today, it's gonna be hard. There's nobody I can think of that could beat Tyron Woodley. Next, Obese Level DC said, could Justin Gaethje ever be a champion with his style? Justin Gaethje, could he be a champion with his style now that he's lost to Eddie out? Well, he was already a champion in World Series of Fighting. If you're talking about could he ever be the lightweight champion of the UFC with his style, I'll say no, unless he got skipped to the title, which he almost if he would have beat Eddie Alvarez, he might have only had to win 1 more fight and get to the title. But now that he lost to Eddie Alvarez, he might have to fight 2 more contenders. He might have to fight 3 more contenders. And I don't think his style is the type of style that's going to run through UFC competition. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Alvarez just beat him. So, no, I don't think he could ever be a UFC champion with that style. I'll just say that. And it's a big reason I'm saying that is because he just lost to Eddie Alvarez over the weekend, and so now he would have to get through multiple contenders. George Costanza said, what do you make a living, or what do you do to make a living? I ask because you are very talented. Yeah, to make a living, I fucking am a custodian. I already answered that a little bit. Master of the custodial arts. I don't get to work as much as I would like. As I said, like, honestly, for the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've been averaging maybe 20 hours a week. Other than that, man, I split rent pretty much. I mean, I have roommates. Me and my girl share a house with my brother and his girl, and then they've got 3 kids. So, and our rent's only $850 a month on top of bills. So I'm looking at, for me and my girl, we probably gotta cover, I don't know, I'll just be fucking generous and say $700 a month. If I can come up with $700 to $800 a month, I can live. So with that being said, and that's because I'm splitting rent. From half of my rent's $850, half of that's $425. That gives me about $300 for the rest of my shit, fucking food and bills, and it's probably a little more than that. So my cost of living is not very high. I've got my fucking brother as my roommate and shit. Both of our girls got jobs and shit. So yeah, man. And as far as you saying I'm very talented, much appreciated, good sir. But my talents definitely do not pay the bills. Dan Boone said, well, I guess they're starting to now. I mean, I officially got my first YouTube check, which is pretty fucking dope. And then also the donations. You know what I'm saying? I've got more money in donations than my YouTube checks. That's for sure. Thanks to fucking Aaron Burrell. If it wasn't for Aaron Burrell, that would not be the case. But he has definitely came through and looked out, which it's just like I can't even think of the words. Like I just don't even know what to say as far as it's just like jaw dropping just to think that somebody would fucking donate $100 to me, like has donated $100 to me each month just for you know what I've done on here. So that like that's just kind of fucking I don't even know the words for it. Humbling. I'm kind of at a loss for words. So that shit helps. That's what I do to make a living. I fucking clean full floors and offices and dump trash and clean bathrooms and fucking vacuum fucking rugs and wax floors, and other than that, I make YouTube videos now. Dan Boone said, bring back pick a fucking Starbucks. Pick a fucking Starbucks. Bro, I've listened to some of those, like not too recently, but a while back. I was so pissed off. Pick a fucking Starbucks. Oh, fucking good times, good times. MMA vlogger Real Talk Forum said, full-time MMA, do you think McNugget will ever fight? Do you think Nate will wait for Conor even if it takes 10 years? Do you think Conor will spend all of his money? Do I think McNugget will ever fight? Yes, I do think he will eventually fight, but it's only going to be maybe one more time, and then after that you might get a Floyd Mayweather fight. But as far as Conor McGregor coming back to MMA, that's not happening. He's gonna come back for like a super fight or 2 super fights, and then he's gone. But you said, do I think Nate will wait for Conor? Yes, Nate will wait for Conor unless they give him 10 million or 15 million to show up, and I don't know if they're gonna do that. So I think Nate's gonna do his thug thizzle and just fucking make his own weed. He's got his own weed strain. He can do high times and weed competitions and show up at clubs and show up at weed signings and UFC signings. He don't need to fight to make as much money as he probably would if he just went back through the grinder of the fucking UFC Shark Tank. Trollbuster with the last question. It looks like, do you think Eddie Alvarez is going to renew his contract? He has 1 fight left on it. Interesting. He's probably, like everybody else, going to want his worth. Hey, I fought Conor McGregor. If you guys aren't paying me what I think I'm worth, I'll test the waters. And it'll be another situation to where, now, do I think the UFC will renew him? I think they should. I don't think the UFC should let Bellator get somebody that fought Conor McGregor for the title. I think that would, but I don't know where Eddie Alvarez's mind is at, to be honest. This comes into, I don't have any fucking contacts and connects. I'm really just shooting off the hip here. I mean, Eddie Alvarez's stock is up, especially with that win over Justin Gaethje. The loss to Conor McGregor, even though it was a loss, rose Eddie Alvarez's stock because it was Conor McGregor. A UFC 205 main event, Madison Square Garden. So Eddie Alvarez is a big figure, came through, took Justin Gaethje's hype. So Eddie Alvarez is worth some money. Now, I don't know how his contract negotiations are going to go. We probably got to wait for a little more news on that. But I would want the UFC to re-sign Eddie Alvarez. There's some good fights for Eddie. If not, he might go back to Bellator. One thing about Eddie Alvarez is he's had like actual issues with Bellator. I'm pretty sure it was before they were under Scott Coker's reign. It was when they were back with Bjorn Rebney. But Eddie Alvarez had like some contract or some legal issues and shit with Bellator, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't see him going to World Series of Fighting, which they like actually renamed themselves at this point. It's not even World Series of Fighting anymore. I don't see him going anywhere aside from the UFC or Bellator. I'm thinking Eddie Alvarez is going to renew his contract with the UFC, but I literally am fucking, what do you think? You tell me too, because your opinion means as much as mine on that one. I don't fucking know anything that you don't know. I'm going to renew this one last time. If there's no more questions, that was the last one. We shall see. Oh, we got a couple more actually. Oh, damn, I would have to, okay, let me scroll down to newest first. Yeah, that might be all of them, man. Oh, yep, that's all of them. So with that being said, man, it is what it is. If you are still listening, much appreciated. We've been going for an hour and 8 minutes. Holy smokes. Thank you, full-time family, for everything. Thank you for hitting that sub button, even if you're just a lazy ass lurker that listens every fucking day like I used to the channel, but I didn't hit subscribe for a fucking while because I was like, yeah, no, I just don't feel like doing all of that. But with that being said, man, I understand. I really don't care if you hit subscribe. I would just appreciate it because it's the only way for me to actually see that the channel is growing. If you're just listening, I couldn't fucking know you from a casual fucking fan. I couldn't know you from a hater just coming in and listening and shit like a lurker. But I still do your thug thizzle lurking, dog. With that being said, it is what it is. I've talked too much, I know, but let the full-time family know what the fuck you type in the comments. Thanks for listening. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOWG.